Town Square Media is proud to present to you the best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. Thank you for tuning in to ESPN 1170 AM and listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local, here at noon, Monday through Friday. Want to remind you, you can listen on the app. Go to your app store, Google Play, and download ESPN 1170. You can listen on your computer, ESPN1170am.com. And you can watch and leave comments on our Facebook page. Go to QC Hassle, follow our page, like our page. Same thing on Twitter and Instagram. And you can leave comments on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. T-Roy's still out of town. Serge is still on assignment, but we brought in the cavalry. Nobody better to talk World Series with than Nick. Nick Taffanelli's in for T-Roy and sent a text last night and just sitting there. And I thought you were under the weather, so I didn't want to bother you. But the game got so crazy that I was like, I gotta take a shot in the dark.
I'm so glad both those guys are gone today. We got so much to talk about. Like, there's so much happening.
Game 6 was incredible. If Game 5 was a little nutty as well. If Game 5 was nutty, actually, I don't know. They just keep getting more and more outlandish.
Weird. And obviously, everyone's talking about it, but it cannot be understated. A home team has not won a game yet.
This is the home team has not won a game yet. The first time.
Do you know how big of an advantage being the home team in a baseball game is?
Yes,
it's a huge advantage.
So, all right, wait. We're going to be joined by Tyson and some other things. On a different text thread, someone asked, they asked me, like, name your, most memorable World Series moment that you watched live if you were in attendance, And one of the things, it wasn't a big deal to me, but I was thinking through all the World Series I remember back to, probably back to 1984, okay? Yeah. And I do remember the 87 one sticking out in my head because I was like, this is crazy. All the home teams won.
Right.
And the same thing with 91. And that's when you start to, so you have to think I'm about 15 years old at those times and thinking, how important home field is.
Yeah.
You're starting to understand why and the rules and everything. And now this is the first time across all the major sports either.
Ever.
That
first 6 games.
Yeah, the first 6 games.
Ever. Which makes sense because it's almost impossible.
Yes.
It's almost impossible.
The road team has a 43-12 run differential in this series.
What? I mean, what is happening? Tonight you got a guy. Here's two starting pitchers tonight. The one guy could barely walk 4 days ago, and they injected him with, I can only assume, some kind of Looney Tunes-sized syringe of whatever it might be.
It's an Acme box.
With like triple X's on it. Like, what did they shoot him up with? And he's pitching Game 7 of the World Series tonight. The other guy is a good pitcher who's best known for having a social anxiety disorder.
Yes.
And I don't know what, like, you don't know what this is. I don't know. We don't know what this is. So, like, I'm not knocking Greinke for it. No. But it seems like this could affect this situation. It seems like this is the kind of thing where that would flare up in a Game 7 of the World Series. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I can see both these guys not getting out of the first inning. I could see a fight on the mound before the game starts. I don't know what at all is going to happen.
If Game 5 showed us boobs, beers,
yes, that's a sidebar that I had forgot all about the boobs.
Yeah.
Like
the beer guy, Jeff Adams, he was back there. He got he got a T-shirt, he got a free ticket to Game 6.
The president made an appearance.
They had booze in Game 5. All this stuff that, like, I think I wrote like 3 things that were non-baseball related that made Game 5 like so much fun. I don't know. Was there 20 things that happened in Game 6? I mean, I have a list of some things like that were important here.
What was so weird is Game 6 got over, and you look at the score, and it's 7-2, which isn't a close game. That game felt like it could go either way up until like the very last out.
Absolutely.
Like anything could happen at any moment.
Game 5 had a couple questionable ball strike calls from the Lance. I forget Lance's last name. The only reason I remember it is because that's the only time I ever thought Davey Martinez ever got mad is when he yelled, "Come on, Lance, wake up!"
Yeah.
It's a World Series. That was in Game 5.
Yeah.
He got a little bit more excited in Game 6, and we'll get to that.
Man.
But then Sam Holbrook comes in and he's like, "Oh, wait. If Lance makes a case for a robot arm, so I'm going to come right in and do it too." Like, this guy is... It's the World Series. And I can't wait to go break it all down with you and Tyson and talk about it. There's other things that, like, going on. Anthony Davis had an incredible night for the Lakers.
40, 20, and 30 minutes never happened in the NBA before?
No. But it has happened where someone's got 40, 20, and 25 free throws made in a game before, and that was Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962.
Right. 25 of 26 on free throws for Anthony Davis last night.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
And that's so far overshadowed of what everything.
Well, it's week one of the NBA. Yeah, nobody. It's not NBA time yet.
No. But no, we have that. I haven't even talked to you at all about anything to do with DraftKings in Fantasy Daily DFS.
Sure.
And that just happened a week ago. That got done.
Yeah.
In there, and so we have our first listener league for that, and that one's already full. So I think we're gonna have to make another one. But no, this is insane. I think you said you were late to Twitter. This is my case right here. Is if you're not on Twitter,
yeah.
These are the moments that you love. Mike Napoli calling Alex Bregman a douche. On Twitter are some of my favorite things. Like, it's the Twitter.
Who else? Somebody else had a bit of a Twitter hot take, hot stand. There was a former player. It's a guy who might even still be in the league, but he was basically just like, "You can't make that call. It's total trash."
It's like Will Middlebrooks got involved.
Yeah.
Like Mike Napoli, I was like, "Oh yeah, he played in the MLB. Look at that guy. He's got a Twitter account."
The Nap.
Yeah. So that's my case. Like, you got to everything as much as it can be like a complete cesspool. Twitter can be. These are the times where I'm like, this is the best. This is the time to be alive.
Man, this whole series has been nuts. Tonight's gonna be fun. We're all gonna be snowed in here, so you might as well buckle up for a nice 5-hour baseball game.
Alex Bregman.
He's really good.
He's so good. If he's only he steps up in the second inning.
Yeah.
He's only batting 182 in the series. He hits a home run.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out why he carries his bat to first base. My first thought was, and I tell my daughter, like, you can't do that. I mean, you can. There's no rule, but all right.
In like a youth game, you would probably be called out.
You're called out.
Yeah. Right.
You're called out because it's possible someone can get injured.
Of course. They frown upon you carrying the bat around the infield. Yes.
Oddly enough, you get called out also in co-ed softball at Crow Creek Park for doing it.
Absolutely.
I did that once.
Well, you get called out for having a beer in your pocket too.
Yeah, I got called out, my case was I just watched Serrano do it 2 days ago in Major League. It seems
right.
I hit a long...
Well, he's the last guy to do this in a Major League game, right?
Yeah.
Pedro Serrano?
In my case, I hit a long fly ball that I thought was a sac fly. It dropped, and I kept my bat as it ran down to first, and they called me out. And I was like, well, I mean, Serrano did it.
Yeah.
So Bregman, my argument to my daughter was what he was thinking was, which is an odd thing, and he didn't know what he was doing, and he apologized for it. But I was like, well, he just broke the record for the most World Series home runs by a third baseman. It looked like he was trying to get the bat like, here, it's a keepsake.
Do you think that is legitimately something that crossed his mind?
What was he thinking then, Nick?
I don't think he was. I think he just hit a big home run, and next thing he knew, he was at first base with a bat still in his hand.
It's one of the. It gets to me because when we have Tyson in here, we get to talk about all these things like, well, the fun Brian McCann. You can't do that. You shouldn't do these things. Of course. Because I'm going to jump right into it. When Soto did it,
yeah.
I was.
And by the way, oh my God, that was a bomb. Jesus,
so much.
This kid. He's 21 years old as of last week. This kid is so good.
Tyson's at the door. No, we got to get him in right now.
Get in here.
I'm not even waiting until break to get him in here.
What's happening, man?
Tyson, Nick, just get on in here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna catch you up real quick because we're jumped right into it. I can't help it. I'll take you through a couple things, and we'll come back through the game all over again after our next break. But Bregman's carrying the bat to first base. What are we thinking here?
I have no idea what he was thinking, man. You don't see it. You don't really ever see it. I think thought he got caught up in the moment. He's in a big stage in the World Series, and he took his bat all the way to first base. And then it got awkward, right? He tried to hand it.
And it ends up like on the field, like basically where the first baseman would stand, right?
Yeah, it got super awkward. But it's funny because in that situation, you can really do whatever you want because winning the game is so much more important than retaliating. So I mean, you can pimp something, you can make it look good because they're not going to hit that guy because there's too much involved in that game.
So if tonight gets out of hand, does either Soto or Bregman catch one?
Yeah, put it right in his ribs for sure.
Yeah.
All right, catch up with us, Tyson. Former Quad City athlete, played at the University of Iowa baseball, played for the Yankees, and now he's a minor league coach for the Yankees as well. So he's got a little bit more insight than what we bring to it outside of just a lot of tweets and a lot of fun stuff. Okay, so I made Nick's right, but it's insane, but I'm trying to explain it to my daughter. I'm like, well, I don't know. Did he want to hand the bat off like a keepsake? Like, don't lose that bat. It's famous now.
Where's the bat going?
I don't know.
Why would that ever be a concern?
Again, why did he carry it? I'm trying to I'm trying to tell my daughter, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just like everyone else. Like, you can't carry the bat to first base. You can, but everyone's taught you can't. You know,
it certainly doesn't seem to happen a lot for something that you can do.
Then, like I said, then Soto does it, which, by the way, my daughter thinks I'm a genius. It's not real hard when it's 3-1 pitch and it's Soto, and I go, this ball's gone, and he jacked, and she's like, how do you do this? Because I did it with George Springer the other night, and I was like, it's a 3-1 pitch, honey, and then he carries the bat, and I lose my mind. Yeah. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like this is the best, and so now I have to explain this to my daughter why this is such a big deal. All right, so she's like, why did he do it? And I went, well, Bregman did it, and now he's kind of doing
Sticking
it back
it to him.
Yeah. And I don't want to explain to her, like, they stick it to, like, I don't want to talk about how Soto, when he does the Soto shuffle and grabs his crotch, and then the pitcher from the Cardinals did it back to him. I don't want to bring that up. But I said, well, he's just kind of retaliating to him in a fun way. And then I said, like, it'd be like if, and I put it on Twitter, but I said, it'd be like if a girl hits an inside the parker against your team and turns around and blows kisses. She goes, whoa, what should I do? What would I do? And I was like, then if you hit one and you blew kisses back. And she's like, so I can blow kisses? I was like, no, you're missing the point. No. You're missing the point. You've got to be a good sport.
And she's like, I drill her. Just right between the ribs.
So and then we got so much more to unpack about this game. Have you, going back on it, 6 teams, the visiting teams, have won this World Series. This has been an incredible World Series.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It's okay. Houston's a lot better team, right? They're just a better team than the Nationals. It's been amazing the Nationals have gotten as far as they have. It's all on, like, there's a lot of pressure on Houston tonight, right? They should win this game. They're supposed to win this game. Can you win one home game? You've got the better team, you got better pitching, you got a better bullpen. How have the Nationals gotten this far? I mean,
I can't. I have no idea. Especially, the way their bullpen was going into the postseason, not its best. I mean, it was a 6 ERA for the season. Going to your bullpen, even up 7-2, which you just said it, Nick, and nothing ever seemed safe.
Right.
They pulled Strasburg.
That was an issue in itself. Why not just let Strasburg do his thing and finish it out? You know?
He was unbelievable last night. He was great.
Yeah. I think there's not been enough credit given to the Nationals offense. I mean, I understand their bullpen, there was question marks coming in, but their starting pitching has been unbelievable. And then to do what they've done offensively, I mean, you've gone up against a staff with the Astros that's awesome.
Just ace.
Cole has been absolutely unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So to do what they've been doing offensively, I think can't be understated.
And then going into last night's game, Rendon was hitting like 230 for the series. Every at bat he takes is incredible. Like, the guy's never off a pitch. He never swings at a ball. Mm-hmm. He fouls 4 pitches back every single at bat. He's on everything. The guy's incredible. He's been unbelievable, Rendon.
Beginning of the series, I said I didn't like Rendon. I don't like his beard. It looks dirty. But now all of a sudden, I like his nickname, Tony Two Bags. So I'm totally changed on him. Yeah. It's a complete the WWE heel change for me turn. Like, now he's a fan favorite. I'm like, look at this guy, the hitting that he had. We are going to take our first break. When we're going to come back, we're going to look at all of Game 6 from top to bottom, because it's just absolutely nuts. It's so much fun, and we're going to talk a lot of baseball with Tyson when we come back.
Hey, Quad City, stop going to your favorite social media sites asking for suggestions of where to get your oil changed, who does the best tattoo work, or the best place for lunch in the QCA. Pick up your Locals Love Us guide and it's easy to navigate table of contents to help you find whatever you are looking for. Or go to their website at localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and then browse favorites. It's so easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. That's Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
This is Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
From local to global, ESPN 1170 has you covered. Your Quad City Sports Show is here for you. Don't hassle us, we're local with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay-Bird, Surge, and you. Weekdays noon to 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader. ESPN 1170 AM wants you to be an insider. Get access to great contests at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
ESPN 1170 AM is the Quad Cities Sports Leader and your home of the local sports show. Don't hassle us, we're local. Listen for a chance to win everything from tickets to free food. Every time you win and pick up your prize at the ESPN 1170 AM Pepsi ticket window, we'll give you a free Pepsi for the road as well. It's like winning twice. Get more chances to win by downloading the ESPN 1170 AM app or by going to ESPN1170am.com.
The experts at Helitech know that a sinking foundation is a serious problem. Uneven floors, separated baseboards, windows or doors that stick can all be signs of significant structural damage that needs to be addressed. Call the foundation repair experts at Helitech to get your free estimate today. If you don't address your foundation issues, they will lead to more serious issues, such as bowed walls, water damage, and even structural collapse. As your hometown foundation repair contractor for over 30 years, Helitech uses industry-leading solutions to repair your sinking foundation. Your home is the largest investment you will typically make. Who better to trust with your family's home than Helitech? They healed my home, they'll heal yours too. Helitech.
Heal your home with Helitech.
There is no off-season. The latest on every sport possible is always heard right here. The Quad City Sports Leader is ESPN 1170 AM.
Comes to the chat, man. I was like, all right.
Okay, welcome
fine.
back to
We
ESPN,
made our deal with the devil.
ESPN 1170 AM. We're still talking about Game 6. Last night, the Nationals won the game 7-2. The Nationals cashed big for the underdog bettors in last night's World Series Game 6. They upset the Astros 7-2. They were plus 160 underdogs, and they're forcing a Game 7. As we mentioned, the road team has won all 6 games in the Fall Classic. And all 6 is the first time in all the big sports that all 6 road teams have won. So this is in pro sports history. Tonight, Game 7, 7 o'clock in Houston. The Astros opened up at a minus 140 favorite. The Nats at a plus 130. The total is sitting at a 7.5 with heavy juice in there at minus 120. Scherzer's going to take the mound. He's 11-7 on the year, 2.92 ERA. But he's 3-0 in the postseason with a 2.16 ERA. And Greinke's going to throw tonight. He's 0-2 in the postseason with 5.30 ERA. There's really no advantage either way. So when it comes to Game 7 and a do or die in MLB postseason, Since 2005, according to BetLab Sports, the dogs have won 5 games and the favorites have won 5 games. Road teams are 5-5 and home teams are 5-5. This is since 2005 in MLB postseason, not just the World Series. So you have to keep an eye on the line. Everything else, if you think there's going to be a lot of scoring, then hit the over at 7.5. All right, let's unwrap this. First thing, Tyson, has 2 young ladies ever flashed their boobs at a game that you were in a professional atmosphere?
No.
No, that's unfortunate.
No, I think that's.
Do you think it was personal?
No.
Everything about Game 5, like we said, was crazy.
That was nuts.
And then Game 6 comes in. So we'll just start from the beginning.
Well, I'm glad we got Tyson here today because he's actually a professional. He's an expert in this.
Yes.
Let's talk this Trey Turner running down first base.
All right.
Now
we're in the 7th inning. Trey Turner hits a ball just a little bit down the left field, not in between pitcher and left field. Peacock gets it, throws it, and the situation they would have runners on second and third. The ball gets away, but Sam Holbrook calls runners interference. By Rule 5.09A11, Tyson, what's the right call?
He made the right call.
You think that's the right call?
He made the right call. I mean, you tell me where in that rule that he abided by the rule. He didn't. I mean, he was outside of the line, the 3-foot line to start.
The lane.
He never once was in line. He never put a spike on the chalk line. Everything was inside. He was in fair territory the entire way. Now, yeah, he ran straight, but the rule is you have to have both feet within that 3-foot line, and he didn't the entire way. And so then when he makes the throw across the diamond, and then there's contact, I think it was a no-brainer at that point. You have to call it, whether you agree with the rule or not. To the letter of the law, that was the correct call. Now, the umpire gets the judgment call on that, and everybody wants to crucify him, but he's got the best look out of anybody, and he has to make that call at full speed in Game 6 of the World Series. He's looking from home plate right down the line. He sees that guy inside the lane the entire time. He's got the best look. He sees the entire play happen in front of him. So then to us to judge his judgment and say that, hey, that was a bad judgment. Well, we got to see it 15 different times from 12 different angles. So yeah, we can maybe say, you know what, maybe that wasn't the greatest time to call that, give the guy a little bit of a break, but he broke the rule, and then for his vantage point, I can't tell you what he saw. Maybe he saw like unequivocally that was definitely interference.
The 2 problems I had with it. One, it's a call you never really see get made. And if they actually started enforcing that across the board, I feel like a lot of guys would get called out for that, right? The other one would be the 4-minute delay. If it's a judgment call, just make the call and move on. Say, no, this is what's happening. I'm the umpire. I'm in charge of this. He's out. Next guy's up. Let's go. It was the waffling like, well, let's check it out just to make sure. If you made the right call, make the right call. And let's go.
No argument there. I mean, that part was bad. You can't take that long. You can't delay the game that long. That should not have happened.
Okay. Like you said, he has to make it at full speed. Was there interference? Because it looks like the ball takes the glove off after he's already passed him. He doesn't. He
was on the base.
He doesn't. And he does. It's not like we've seen like Machado like clip first baseman, but he doesn't clip him or anything like that. The ball takes him off.
And the ball then hit the runner.
That is a terrible stretch by Yurli Guerrera. I mean, that was awful.
Yeah, we can dissect it any which way. You're right. Bad throw, bad stretch. The contact probably happened after the runner was going. He couldn't get to the ball. But we can look at it any which way. The umpire too, when at least my experience with it is being a catcher and being catching coach now, like that doesn't get called much. Okay,
right.
What ends up happening when it gets called, there's contact. We either hit the runner with the ball, or there's contact between the first baseman and the runner. At that point, usually gets called. If there's no contact there, the umpire usually doesn't say much. And like our guy might throw it in right field, and he comes back into me in the dugout. And he says, "Hey, I had no lane to throw. That guy was way inside the lane. Like, hit him in the back, man.
Well,
Okay,
that's what
let's stop
Easer
right
A's
there.
was
Yes.
asking on Twitter.
On Twitter, that's
was
what he
you,
wants
like
to know.
drop third strike, a bunt, catcher fields it, and the guys in the line. You train your guys to just drill them, right?
If you can make the throw, if we can make that throw, we can get around him. Yeah, we want to take the out. But if we can't make that throw, yeah, you throw it. You throw it through him, through his left shoulder, to the first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
If he's that far off, and at that point, if it hits him in the shoulder, yeah, fantastic. If
Great,
it doesn't,
yeah.
if we're aiming at that left shoulder, a lot of times with the right-handed catcher, that ball's going to have a little fade to the first baseline anyway. So if it does get by him, our first baseman should be able to make the play.
Now, it was gone on to say a little bit on Twitter that the reviewing the play for that long, and who's Harris on the mound? Will Harris?
Yeah.
He's sitting there getting a little bit colder.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's tough to speculate that that's why the home run happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about how long that took?
Well, I can speak from the playing side of it, is that it is easier as a hitter to stay warm and be ready to go and jump in their first pitch and swing it than a pitcher that sits for 4 or 5 minutes and then has to come in and execute a pitch. Okay. So, yeah, on the mound, you have to do everything you possibly can to keep yourself ready to go, keep yourself sharp, because...
Man, calling out Will Harris like that. Unbelievable. Jeez. Rough. But no, so it's the right call. Let's assume it's the right call. I'm with, like, you've convinced me. Total justice. Rendon bombed that, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a baseball justice. Ball don't lie. Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
They, so Trey Turner, some people said he was acting childish. I liked him. That he was telling him on the umpires, he's like, turn it over, overturn the call, and then saying, Joe Torre's right there. There's Joe Torre.
Calling Joe Torre OUT. And Joe Torre is just in the stands trying to like look at his phone like he's got a phone, like fake phone calling. Like
he totally was too. He's like, hey, anybody need a beer? I got it.
I'm buying.
It's my turn to buy, right? Yeah. But yes, and some people didn't like him doing that. I loved it, and then we started speculating.
That happens all the time. I mean, because he got caught on a hot mic. I mean, but that happens all the time.
I feel like we're getting more on-field sound in this World Series than we've ever gotten before. Like just in dugouts in general, like we're hearing a lot more of what's actually happening, and it's great. Mm-hmm. It's great. Like this series has been great. It's been so fun to watch.
And then I started speculating with some friends who Trey Turner looked like, and we came up with that he looks like the love child between Adam Scott and Frankie Muniz. I mean, when you have 4 minutes of just him on there, you have to come up with something. So, all right, and then we go to the 7th inning stretch, and Davey Martinez loses his mind.
Yeah.
And is this over? He wanted to protest, so Turner told him.
They protested the game.
Yeah, and you can't protest
You can't
that.
protest.
Yeah.
You can't
protest the judgment call. But it was Turner that said, now I want you to protest it. And Martinez like, yeah, okay, I'll protest it. Even though he said in his post game, I know I couldn't protest it, but I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to protest anyway. And they said, you can't protest.
He's like, well, I'm doing it.
Then he loses his mind after that?
Well, then he just, like, he tries to run through his own bench coach, like his get back guy. Yeah. Like just charging the feet, like revving up his
Do you think he waited that long because he didn't know? And he said to Chip Hale, and he goes, "Has a manager ever been run out in the World Series?" And Hale goes, "Hold on, let me look this up." And he Googles it, and he's like, "Not since '96." And he's like, "All right, I'm done.
Perfect.
I'm gonna break this streak. I'm gonna go out and do this." And he's like, "All right." And then, I mean, even some people like, "Hey," in his post game, they're like, "Hey, it looked like the umpire made contact with you," and it really, I think he touched his shoulder, like, "Calm down." And he's like, I really don't want to make this about me and the umpire. And I thought Martinez held himself with class afterwards. And everything. Yeah, but
lost his mind.
He did.
I was confused.
Especially after the home run, right? You're like, okay, everything's gonna calm down, and it comes back from that commercial break, and it's Davey Martinez trying to fight the umpire.
And he did. He lost his mind. It was unbelievable to me because you are at that point it was 5-2. So at that point, yeah, and it's like. You're in
close the game. You got
seat.
Game 7 coming tomorrow. Like 20 hours. Yeah.
You know, maybe if that doesn't go well and they don't hit the home run, and
then you lose it. Yes,
maybe,
of course.
But even at that point, like you're the manager, you need to be in the game. It's the biggest stage. Like to me, he just completely lost it. I don't know if the stage just broke him, but he did a nice job after the game. But you can't do that. Not in that situation.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Davey Martinez got ejected in Game 6. Bobby Cox in 1996 got ejected in Game 6. He also got ejected in 92 in Game 3.
Yes.
Whitey Herzog, Game 7 in 1985. That's the Don Dickinger game.
Ooh.
Billy Martin got ejected in Game 4 in 1976. Earl Weaver in 1969. That is your list of managers that have been ejected in a World Series game. I really think that that's what took so long, that he was just like, and Chip Hale's like, I'll Google that for you.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks, Chip.
It's like, I need...
Hey, Chip, ever managed a baseball game, a World Series baseball game? No. Yeah, you're about to.
I need advanced metrics on who's gotten run from a World Series game.
And then Chip Hale says, no one's ever going to remember that I managed this game unless I take out Strasburg in the middle of a complete game.
Yeah.
In which he does. 8 1/3 innings. It would have been the first complete game in a World Series since 2015 and just the 6th this century.
Who was 15? Do we know?
2015, it's got to be, that was the Royals year. I'd have to look that up. Strasburg is the first pitcher in Major League Baseball history to go 5-0 in a single postseason game.
Yeah.
So that's where Chip
Hale's
Hale's
like 3
going to go
guys
down
with 5 wins in a postseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
The couple other things. I do want to talk to you about robo umpires, Tyson. Good. I doesn't sound like you're a fan of them.
No.
Okay, so we have Game 5 where there's a couple pitches that were questionable. Now, do you remember what they said about Yan Gomes? What he said? There was a pitch that he thought was a strike. All right, so in Game 5, there's a pitch that was clearly a strike, even on the baseball auditor or whatever else. Okay.
Okay.
And Gomes fires it, gets up to fire it down to third for strike 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he's mic'd up, and he looks back at the umpire and he goes, "My bad."
Yeah.
My fault. He says, "My fault," and the umpire doesn't say anything or whatever else. And then, so there was a couple ones that were off the plate, and there was another one last night as well. During the bottom of the first, on a 2-2 changeup from Strasburg, Brantley, it was off the plate by about 3.5 inches, according to umpire auditor, and he rang up Brantley. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on the robo umpire?
Oh, we were jumping right into it. We had enough time. Okay. I will let everyone know. Yeah, I'm biased. I'm a catching coach. If the robo umps come into existence at our level, I'm kind of rendered useless, to be honest.
You can't frame. You can't outframe. Can't frame pitches through a robo ump.
So yes, I am biased, but here's some things to take into account that we see when we're watching games. We see the little square on the screen that says, "Hey, that's a strike. That's not a strike." Okay. Yes, in a perfect world, that's a strike, okay? But with our advanced analytical numbers, when we see a strike zone, we take every single pitch that's ever been called a ball or strike for that year at that level, and it gives us a strike zone. So that strike zone is slightly larger in some areas and smaller in some areas than the actual box. So these people are like, you missed that call. Okay, well, actually, according to every pitch that's been called, that was like, a 65% of the time, that's a ball, even though it shows on the screen that's a strike. Okay, camera angle from center field has a lot to do where our little box is that we see on TV. It's not going to be the track man right behind the home plate, perfectly centered strike zone. So everything's slightly skewed a touch when we're looking at it from our living rooms. We don't know if we're 100% accurate, and we don't know the actual perceived strike zone that's called throughout the year. So, yeah, it makes umpires look pretty bad. My other argument to that is it's a competitive advantage for teams to have a catcher that is very good at receiving the baseball and that can manipulate the zone and get a call and go into umpire-player relationship. He's got better hands. He's a better receiver of the baseball. That's a competitive advantage. Mm-hmm. So now you're taking that out.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you take that out, you're going to end up having DHs behind the plate that don't have to catch the ball. All they have to do is knock the baseball down, especially with no one on base. Guys get on base, yeah. But you don't have to catch the ball. You don't have to make it look good. You're going to be behind the plate. All you're going to do is catch the baseball. You're going to have these big boppers that are going to do only that can throw and that can hit. Because even, too, when a guy gets at first base, now we can put ourselves into a preset throwing position because it doesn't matter how we catch the ball. So now we're cheating on our throws. So pop times eventually are going to go down significantly, making it even harder to steal bases than it is right now, which is very, very tough. So I'm 100% against it. I think that it would take away so much from the game.
like employment.
Yes, like employment.
Right.
No,
I agree completely.
Everything you said, it makes complete sense, though. The competitive advantage is huge.
I agree completely. Like the robo-umps, it sounds like a great idea.
No, it doesn't.
To somebody who doesn't really watch baseball, the robo-umps probably sound like, oh, this is the fair way to do it or the best way to do it. It takes out a lot of the nuance of the game, which... why do you want to take that out?
I got the number somewhere on my phone, but roughly it's umpires behind the plate miss 10% of calls. Well, if you get a guy that goes back there and it's roughly 150 called pitches a game, I think we were like 75 for our catchers receiving pitches. So let's double that. So it's about 150 balls that actually get to the catcher's mitt that the guy's going to call. So you do that over an entire season for one umpire, and he's only missing 10% of those calls. That is crazy. I think it was actually like 91 point something percent. I mean, it seems 9-10% of calls that he's missing throughout an entire year. That is a crazy low statistic if you actually look at it, because these balls are coming at 100 miles an hour and they're breaking left, they're breaking right, they're catching
corners,
a portion of it. So
it seems like a very hard thing to do, is to be a home plate umpire. Like it's not. Those guys are pretty good. Like these Major League Baseball pitchers.
You should tell Davey Martinez that.
I'm all for the fight. Like, I want Davey Martinez to take one tonight.
Let's take a break and come back and talk about Game 7, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on who you think's going to win and if there will be a fight tonight.
Attention, pizza lovers. We have exciting news for you. Van's Pizza is now in Bettendorf. Van's Pizza and More on the Go is just open near the TBK Plex at the corners of Middle and Forest Grove Roads. They have outstanding daily specials with that Van's Pizza you love, plus Van's famous wings, the oh-so-popular bread nuggets, salads, and baked subs. Van's Pizza and More is a carry-out call-in establishment that can have your pizza hot and ready for you within 10 minutes, or you can have it delivered. So call Vans on the Go at 563-232-1396. That's Vans Pizza and More, 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf.
This is Randall, the QC hot dog guy. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
I'm just gonna run to the garage.
Oh, wow. Are you okay?
We've got to do something about this floor.
Like Dave's garage? Tailored Living just put in epoxy. Looks great, and it's textured.
There's way too much junk in here.
Actually, Tailored Living pulled everything out, put it all back, and got rid of what they didn't want for free.
What are you waiting for?
Right. I'll get them here for an estimate.
No, help me up.
Call Brett today at 309-429-6270. Book your free consultation and choose from a limitless color selection for your garage or basement today.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles, too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh, yeah. Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand...
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't.
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike three.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot.
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
EMS hotline.
I'm hiding in the closet. I'm really frightened. I didn't know who else to call.
It's all right, sir. Now tell me, what's the matter?
Well, it's my wife. She's in this mood.
Was it a grouchy mood, sad mood, moody mood? Sir, please describe the mood.
Well, Kind of like all three.
You didn't tell her she was fat, did you?
Geez, I'm not that stupid. See, I was test riding a new Suzuki Intruder from Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic in Bettendorf. Well, I guess I just forgot her birthday was today, and she started yelling at me.
Go on.
So I told her that I was buying it for her.
First, you need to reassure her and tell her that you love her and that riding a Suzuki motorcycle helps to ease cramps and bloating.
Cramps and Hey, is this the pre-motorcycle syndrome hotline?
No, sir. This is the other PMS hotline.
Oh, no, she found me. Gotta go. Maybe I'll be calling you in 28 days.
Come test drive one today. Brenny's, 4426 State Street in Bettendorf, across from Alcoa. Almost.
Every Sunday and sometimes Monday and even on Thursday. Remember, your home of the Chicago Bears. The Quad City sports leader is ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back to ESPN 1170. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're live here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Done Right TV and Security. Tyson Blazer's in studio talking to us about Game 6. We're going to preview a little bit about Game 7. Nick is in for T-Roy. Sometimes the conversations we have off the air are just as important as the ones we have on the air. And we were talking about protests in the minor league. And Tyson, tell everybody what you were telling me about protests in general in the minor league, how you don't protest.
Yeah, so we don't really protest at all unless you are 100% sure that you're right. Because if you protest, that can affect the umpire's career in general. If you protest and he is wrong, and so you win your protest, that umpire is fired. He's gone. There's
just immediately canned.
Yeah, immediately canned. Yeah, and there's repercussions just for protesting a game. You protest a game, and then that guy is now under review, and so it's just something you just don't mess with.
Is there like a shaming ceremony? Does somebody like go into the umpire's locker room and just like rip the badge off him?
Like,
give me your pitch counter.
And everyone's like kind of, and then they're like, oh, protest.
Yeah.
Well, it is because like when you hear like protest, the P word getting thrown around, everyone kind of is like, oh, get big eyed, and the umpires start getting like, all right, are you sure you want to do this?
Turn in your shin guards.
Are you sure you want to do this? So. Yeah, it's something we don't.
It's like my kid's going to college next year. Are you sure you want to do this?
I was gonna say when you're like, "Hey, we don't protest in the minors," I thought you were gonna go with because there's a $25 protest fee. It's not.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, gosh, it's $25 is important."
Your league fee's double.
I could be wrong with this, but I think too, if you lose a protest, you get fined. There's a money aspect to it.
Kidding.
So if we process that too, because they don't want that happening.
Yeah, they don't want their time wasted. Apparently, you can't get a hold of anyone in New York about a judgment call that didn't happen.
Also, the minors isn't.
Joe Torre's going to talk nonsense at a post game for 3 minutes.
The minors aren't totally about winning and losing, right? It's not like the biggest deal. It's not the whole point of the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I get it. That's pretty intense though. The umpire just gets pulled out.
You're gone.
I like the shaming.
Yeah.
They don't even allow him to hand it over. They just take the patch right off. All right. So Game 7 tonight. We've seen every road team win. This is the thing growing up that your Game 7 of the World Series, bases loaded, 2 outs. What are we looking at here? Who do you like?
I like the Nationals. To be honest with you, I like Scherzer over Greinke. I mean, I think they're gonna have to go to the bullpen early. If you're Houston, I would assume at some point you'll see a Garrett Cole sighting. I don't care how short a rest he's on. I think at some point you see him, whether it's an inning, whether it's a hitter, you'll see him. I think they're going to try to piecemeal it together in that aspect. But you got to figure Greinke hasn't been great this postseason, and it's been unbelievable how many runs have been scored in the first couple innings.
Every game.
Yeah,
every game.
And so, if you can get to Greinke early for a 2 or 3 spot, and they have to go to the bullpen, and you just hold on with Scherzer. So,
Nick brought this up earlier, and I'm going to ask you, what did they inject Max Scherzer with?
What did they shoot him up with that he couldn't walk for Game 5?
Yeah,
and then he's starting Game 7. He couldn't dress himself 4 days ago.
I don't know. You ever had a cortisone shot? They're unbelievable.
I've never.
Yeah, they're awesome.
You got a guy?
Yeah. I had a few in my shoulder. And it's like you go from one day I couldn't lift my shoulder or my arm over my head and couldn't throw to 2 days later, and I'm good to go for a couple months.
Well, 2 days later he was prowling in the bullpen and started for another thing.
That was weird.
Yeah, what was that? I think your brother-in-law said there's no way he's going in. He's doing it just to mess with the Astros.
Yeah, he just didn't let them know he's there. Maybe he was just getting some throws in to be ready for a Game 7 if it came to that.
Yeah, but I understand where that's coming from. But you did that before the game. And
yeah.
Then
he did it before the game too, right?
Yeah. So I don't know what you're doing.
Scherzer seems like the kind of guy who'd be like, "No, I'm gonna go warm up just in case," and they're like, "No, you don't need to do that." He's like, "No, I'm doing it."
There you go. That's probably a better.
Like, no, you're gonna throw games, and he's like, "No, just in case you need me, Skip." And he's like, "I don't.
He's like, I will not.
I already mentioned you're."
He's like, "Yeah, but I'm gonna be ready."
Yeah, but you. Well, how about I ask Coach Hale here or whatever? So Strasburg. I mean, Scherzer's gonna throw tonight. Like I said, 3-0, 2.16 ERA in the postseason. But the neck spasms and everything else, that was strange. Greinke, I don't know.
This is classically a bad spot for Zach Greinke, right? Everything you know about Zach Greinke. If you ever rooted for a team Zach Greinke's played for, have you ever been like, I really want Zach Greinke pitching the big all-pressure game? Never?
No.
Ever?
No, probably not. No.
But this is like the ultimate, no matter what one is done, this is the ultimate Hollywood script or whatever else. You have the Nationals or the road team winning every game, and the Nationals coming from, being a wild card and doing what they're doing. Or you have the Game 7, and if Greinke throws a gem, you have him overcoming this, this social anxiety.
Which would be amazing, right?
It would be great, yes. In the day and age we live, that would be great to expose that.
How can the series go 7 and the home team not win a single game? Like, I'm rooting for the Nationals tonight, but if the Astros blow this tonight, it'll be a huge upset. And, geez, Louise, you got to win a home game, guys. Somebody win a home game.
It's unbelievable that they haven't. I can't explain it. I mean, it's weird.
Astros have endured a losing streak of more than 2 games at home just once during the regular season.
Yeah.
They've got 3.
Right.
In one series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
An entire season, they haven't lost this many only once.
And again, it's been Scherzer and Strasburg. They're not exactly facing pedestrian pitching.
No.
They're facing 2 of the best guys in the league.
Yeah, and Strasburg has been historically good. I think he's been kind of pushed under the rug because of what Garrett Cole had done. But they've now have the exact same number of strikeouts for the
monster
postseason, which are tied for 4th or 5th all time or whatever.
And Scherzer's walked like 3 guys in the last month and a half.
So, I like the Nationals tonight, but in the same breath, the Nationals tonight. If the Astros win, it's
not a surprise, right?
Not a surprise to anybody. Not to anybody. So,
yeah, we said this earlier. If it does get out of hand early, will there be any type of? I don't know if there'll be retaliation in any sense, or do they wait till the next year? Your brother-in-law told me what's interesting is that they both are in the same. They share the same spring training.
Yeah.
So that
split squads.
It could be interesting there.
I think I walked back my earlier statement. We were talking it off air, and I don't think anything happens regardless if it gets out of hand. So whoever's getting beat up on, if it gets out of hand, and they retaliate from, say, last night, and they hit somebody.
Yeah,
that the team that's winning isn't going to do
right.
They're not going to put anything in jeopardy.
Yeah, sure.
A guy getting hit, a guy getting tossed, a guy whatever it may be. So you may see somebody get hit. You may see somebody really pimp something from home, but I don't think there's going to be any major fireworks
until next year.
Yeah,
and then
all right, couple things. The brother-in-law is on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread. He says, so Max got up on his own to start throwing. Davey kept trying to call down and tell him to stop. After the 3rd call, Max forbid anyone in the bullpen from picking up the phone. I don't know if that's true, but that is amazing.
That's awesome.
It sounds true, so let's assume it's true.
100%. The way that Max Scherzer was walking around like a caged puma at the Niabi Zoo, staring at
he's going to run through the bullpen door to get out to the mound if he needs to.
He was like looking at charts that I knew made no sense whatsoever. Like he was studying them, and they kept putting it on him, and then all of a sudden he starts throwing. So yes, I believe that probably happened. And then he also asked if we talked about tipping pitches yet.
No, we haven't.
Briefly, I mean, we mentioned a little bit
at the beginning. Yeah, they said Strasburg was tipping pitches at the beginning of the game. and then they made the adjustments. But
the Astros are one of the best teams in baseball at picking that up. I know the Yankees actually do a really, really good job of it too.
Well, for the longest time, everyone thought Houston was stealing signals from the catcher from center field, right, with the camera.
Well, they
like that
did
would
do that, right?
Right, that was the thing.
Was that the thing? Yeah. No, they're always looking for an edge, and I think sometimes when you're looking for an edge, you flirt with cheating. You flirt with that line.
Which again, why can't you win one home game?
Right.
Like you go out of your way to do these things, and you still can't win one home game.
The pitch tipping is pretty is pretty good stuff. I know there's like, especially when you're doing advanced scouting and you're looking at teams you're going to play in the playoffs or even when you get to the World Series, it's like you have whole departments of people just pouring
frame by frame
every single pitch a starter or one of their bullpen guys has ever thrown.
Yeah.
Right. And that just doesn't mean him. They're looking at catchers. They're looking at, the pitcher. They're looking at guys behind them. Do they do something different positioning wise when they go to fastball? So it's unbelievable how much in depth the video gets and what they're actually looking for. But if you can get, an advantage and you can get, Strasburg for too early, it's like they almost won the World Series because of it last night.
Do you make them wear one when they start finding out that you're tipping pitches? What gets you to wear one? What I want to know.
Where's the line?
Where's the fun? There's so many people that are like, no, you can't do that. Yeah. What gets you one? Stealing signs. What is it?
It seems like it's situational based on the game and where you're at in the season.
Yep. It's guys' reactions, and then it's a stealing of signs, but not the pitch tipping, because that's the pitcher's fault. But like if they are relaying signs from the dugout with a hot word or a whistle or even the guy at first base, like your first base coach, if he walks up or he takes a step back, I mean, there's all these different tells. And if you pick that up, you're gonna get one, because right there, I mean, that's a blatant cheating aspect of the game. So you're going to wear one, and because you know that you were cheating, you're not going to do anything.
You can't steal signs, and you can't because of the movement of the first base coach or whatever else. You're not supposed to.
So no. So because of the movement of the first base coach, so like if they're picking something up, right, and they know, all right, if they can relay it from dugout to maybe the guy at first base, and that first base coach takes 2 steps forward, fastball. Or takes 2 steps back, change up. Yeah, no. That's,
so like talking about it in the dugout,
that's a no-no.
But talking about the dugout's fine, but signaling right before the pitch, or like as the pitch is coming in, that's where the line's drawn.
Right, because that's not a hitter versus a pitcher. That's an unfair advantage. I mean, the hitter's in there, and if that guy's moving his glove or his hands are coming up too high or his knee is different between fastballs and curveballs, and that hitter in the box can tell that's the pitcher's fault. But if he's getting outside help from somebody telling him what's coming, then that's
all right. Well, I owe an entire coaching staff an apology for picking up their signs.
No, you got to try to do it. Just don't get caught. Well, everybody does it.
I was very blatant about, hey, I know what you're doing, so I wanted them to get upset. And again, I'm gonna remind everybody, this is 10U softball.
Yeah.
But I was taking.
Of course it is.
I always tell you when I was taking the adult out of the game, and they were very, very mad at me but it was very obvious what the calls were, because they had the little.
Did you get one of your players beaned? Did you get one of your players?
Now I kind of see that it's going to happen. Sorry about it, girls.
If they're doing the wristband and you pick up the number system or something, then they need to get a better
Thanks.
card
I
system.
still feel like I owe an apology.
No, you're good at that point.
I mean, I feel like 10 and under might be a step early for this. In all things considered.
Yeah, it's bad. Now I feel bad. And when we were talking during the break, you're like, you're all for the home run. Yeah. You can pimp one, but be aware.
Yeah, be aware for sure.
Now, have you ever been in a situation where a teammate has done it, you've been on deck, and you're like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Because you know that you might be the one? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a bad feeling, man.
You gonna name some names?
Getting into that box. No, I won't.
Let's name some names.
So getting into that box and knowing that you could end up getting one in the dome is like, oh. But here's the deal: like if I hit a home run and I want to watch it, so be it. But if that offends somebody, also so be it. If that guy's offended and your next guy gets hit, well, it's on you for trying to pimp it. But I'm all for it. If they want to do it, go for it. My look at it is that if that pitcher makes a bad pitch and you hit it a mile, Okay, well, make a better pitch. And if you strike a guy out if you strike him out the next time and you want to give a little extra flair to it, go for it. Because I don't think it's really hurting the game one way or the other.
Do you ever tell the guy who's getting in the batter's box, like, "Hey, don't dig in too hard"?
All right, this guy.
you know what happens.
Okay,
right?
listen.
Like, hey.
This guy's a little out of his mind. Don't give him a reason.
Yeah. No, when I was catching too, like if we had something like that, what I would tell the guy when he got in the box is because coming up through, I had a manager in Double A, and he's like, "We're not going to hit anybody." So a guy would get into the box, and I would say, "Hey, you better watch your toes here. This one's coming up and in." Just to give because he wouldn't because he wouldn't let us hit him. So all we could do was throw the ball up and in. So you let that guy know a little bit, give him a hard time.
Why wouldn't he let you guys plunk anyone?
Old school.
Yeah.
It was an older manager, really, really good dude. But just he had a different set of values and beliefs, and so that's the way it went.
Because it's a minor league game. Why are you trying to hurt people?
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to get guys like career injured?
Well, you gotta
very dangerous.
You gotta respect the game, though. I guess, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to respect the game?
If the guy slides in hard to your shortstop at second,
okay, and
that's what
if the guy's
saying.
like almost injuring your guy,
I'm not saying
is it make it
pinch one or
okay to
whatever.
try to injure their guy? I mean,
you're just putting him on his thigh or something in the ribs.
Yeah, pitchers aren't good enough. I'm not gonna, especially at the minor leagues.
Right.
We got guys from 95 to 100, and
they don't really know where it's going.
Oh no, they got no. You could put one in the head and literally hurt this dude. So.
Yeah. All right. Tonight's Game 7. This will be the 7th since 2000, and the first since 2017.
7 out of 19 of the last World Series have gone Game 7?
Yep.
That seems like a lot.
01, 02, 11, 14, 16, and 17.
Huh.
This is going to be roughly... Yeah, it's going to go by, if your average of time, if you're trying to figure out what time you're going to go to bed tonight, not one of them have been less than 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Ugh. Well, this is going to be a 5-hour baseball game.
Because of all the pitching changes?
And yeah, everything's going to slow down. No question.
Major League Baseball's not going to step in and say anything to Davey Martinez for Game 7, are they?
No, not at all.
They shouldn't.
No.
If anything, they'll just do something in Game 1 of next year or Game 2, do you think?
Yeah.
Or do you think they're just going to let bygones be bygones because Joe Torre talked nonsense for 3 minutes in the postseason about the whole thing? And just go, you know what? Can we just forget about it? Yeah.
I think. I mean, was there contact? I'm trying to remember.
Someone said, you know what? I didn't even give it a second look to go back and look at it. I just know I listened to the post-game press conference this morning, and he brushed it off. He's not that type of guy. I just don't know what the delay was for.
Right. And like what actually made him snap? Like, did the umpire say something to him where he finally was like, okay, well.
Yeah, no, the delay was weird because even if he goes to the headset, he puts the headset on, they say, hey, that's can't protest. It's a judgment call. So regardless if you think it was the right call or he doesn't think it's the right call, it is what it is. Let's play ball.
Is there ever a situation where, like, if the umpire made contact with the manager, would the umpire get thrown out of the game?
No.
And why not?
It's funny because you say, like, if there's any kind of contact, it's always the coach, right?
Right.
Like, and a lot of times you get some of these umpires that don't really back down and they're taught to not really take any crap. And so they'll be toe-to-toe at times, and if they touch, it's the umpire. Or it's not the umpire, it's obviously the coach.
It's always on the player or the coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can we make a slight turn, and we'll come back to the game?
Turn it.
But I want to talk to you, because we've got time, I want to talk to you about the latest from the NCAA. Being an NCAA athlete that you were, obviously the NCAA is in response to California's bill in September that they passed, saying that name, image, and likeness of the NCAA athletes can get paid. Now, the NCAA says that basically, we're thinking the players should, their name, image, and likeness, they should get paid for it. But they didn't really say too much about it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, we agree, but we don't know what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And we don't know how we're going to do it. We don't place it. We're not going to figure out how it's going to go. The main response right now is now we're going to have NCAA football. This is not the one thing for EA Sports, for PlayStation.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the big deal, but that's really not the case here.
Which is worth it on itself, on its own.
We all want that to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, but what's your take on this situation, Tyson?
Yeah, my take is the big money sports drive everything. So football and basketball, and maybe some of your bigger SEC schools for baseball, but I mean, that's why they're doing it. You know, everyone complains about athletes not getting the money. It only really is about the basketball players and the football players.
Okay.
Because going to school to play baseball, you have 11.7 scholarships for 25 people on the roster, active roster. You bring in like 32, 34, 35, whatever it is. And so if we're talking about actually paying athletes, well, why don't you make everybody that goes to college, give them a full ride scholarship? I mean, that to me, and that is what college sports is. Like, I still paid quite a bit out of pocket to go play baseball at the University of Iowa. Yeah, give everybody a full ride scholarship. These football guys, and it could be different, but I know when we were there, full ride, room and board, books. They got their food paid for because they ate all their monies at their training tables at the cafeteria, and then they got like $800 stipend for live out.
Free cover at the field house on Friday night.
yeah. You had to be able to like name your like two of your coaches when they asked
right.
you. And then
nobody recognized you when you went out to like Vito's or wherever it was. But these guys just walk right in.
Yeah. But so yeah, like that's what's wild to me. It's like, $800 in Iowa City. You live with one other guy. You can have a pretty nice apartment, and you have no expenses. I mean, so that $800 is going between your apartment and whatever else you want to fill your fridge for, because you eat and you go to school for free, and everything else is paid for. All your clothing, because you get so much free stuff. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, some of these big time schools, they want to pay them, but I'd just like to see everybody start with a full ride scholarship. Get everybody on the same page, because now baseball players don't.
Yeah. And I know, like, for the wrestling team too, people, they'll say like, oh, the scholarship to Iowa, but sometimes it's a partial, it's like a quarter, to fill out that. And the question that's going to be is somebody playing football for USC who's a Heisman Trophy candidate going to make them the same as a tennis player at Virginia?
No shot.
A female tennis player at Virginia. Right. How are they going to make this work?
How does it happen then? If I'm a uber rich alumni, right, and a booster, and I own a local barbecue
store, whatever it is,
right, whatever you want to do, and hey, come down, I'm going to pay you to do my commercial, and you're putting $50,000 in his pocket for doing a 10-minute cameo on a commercial.
Yeah. Also, like, how about you go to like a high school kid and go, why don't you come to the University of Virginia? You can do ads for my furniture store, and I'm gonna like.
That's exactly what's going to happen, right?
Of course it is.
I'm with you. I agree.
During the campus visits, like, oh, I have to stop. I got to stop over here, and get my car detailed. And meanwhile, the owner's there, and he's like, hey.
And now, and again, like years ago, this might have been more difficult to do, even though it still probably would have happened. But how easy would it be to reach out to like the top 50 prospects? Like on Twitter, even. Like, you can find them on Facebook. You can contact these guys any which way and say, listen, I'm a business owner. I live in Oregon. If you come to the University of Oregon, you will make money doing advertising for me.
You don't even need to do that. You don't even live in Oregon. You can sit there and say,
oh, sure. Yeah.
You can sit there now we have these social media influencers. You can just say, all I need you to do on your Instagram is wear this type of apparel, and I'll give you money. I mean, where to stop? Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times just joined us in here. Bobby, I know we talked about the NCAA as well, talking with Tyson here. We just touched upon this going on in the whole NCAA saying that, your likeness, your image, and your name, we need to look into it. They said something without really saying anything, to be honest with you. They just kind of stalled everything. But everyone's saying this is a big deal, and NCAA finally should do it. Where do you fall on this? I don't think you feel like the NCAA should pay them for their likeness and image.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it.
Okay. I think,
tell us about the fence, Bobby.
Because I think once you open up paying players, you open up a can of worms.
I think
I mean, you could argue they already are doing that.
Yes,
It's
I know, but
just not reported.
right. But when you even start doing it, I think it just opens up a large can of worms.
So what's the worst case scenario?
Your boosters are paying players to come to your school, and there's no way to stop it.
So like it is now.
Well, no, but I mean, there are still infractions. Whether or not,
okay.
you know, I mean, whether or not anything ends up coming because of Kansas violations or anything like that, there are still infractions. I mean, the SMU was given the death penalty for a while because of that, and now it's like that's not going to happen. And you can
that one guy became a senator.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that though there's so much gray area here, and going back to just being the social media influencer thing, it's crazy because you don't really even need to be a booster in that city. And the whole name and image and likeness, I get that, but the name thing I was thinking about, we talked about yesterday, was, well, your name is on the back of a jersey. Do you not go to a school because they don't put names on their jersey all of a sudden? And now does that number become your name? And when someone else wears it, do they get a share? Do you know what I'm saying? It gets crazier and crazier the more rabbit hole you go down it with questions.
Well, I don't know how you get around Title IX with this.
Sure.
I mean, the only people who are going to be making money are football players and basketball players.
Yeah.
And male basketball players. I mean, you may have Megan Gustafson be able to, but like, I mean, so you're going to have volleyball players, women's basketball players, women's lacrosse players, anyone is going to be like, well, why, this isn't fair.
Well, that's the thing. So how does this work? Where is the NCAA going with it? And obviously, like I said, they're not really doing anything. And Title IX is a good point. Why hasn't anyone brought that up and said, like, whoa, wait a minute. We got a lot of things to do to get to this. Everyone's like applauding. Majority of people are applauding and saying it's about time.
People who are going on about saying, oh, we're going to have NCAA or football 20. It's like, it's not happening in 1 year, 2 years.
Oh, that's what we were saying.
The bill
it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 years?
Yeah.
The bill
I'm
itself,
against it.
the bill itself wasn't going to go through till 2023.
Yeah.
In California.
Well, NCAA won't have to worry about it, right? They pass it, hey, you go out there and use your likeness and make as much money as you want, and then it's kind of off their hands, right? Like they don't have to worry about Title IX.
It's a
because they're saying the women and have the same opportunities as the men to go out and make money off their likeness. Now we all know that's not true, but the NCAA at that point said, no, we've opened this up for everybody. That's kind of where the equality comes in.
Well, that's why I think people are going to you're going to have people object to it because of that, because they're going to say it's not equal, it's not fair.
You have people objecting to it now. There's billions being made on NCAA sports.
Yeah.
Why can't you get the players some of it? Seems to be a fairly solid argument, no?
But again, how much do you pay
I understand
how much do you pay an offensive lineman? How much do you pay, the starting center on the Iowa women's basketball team? How much do you pay, the libero on the Nebraska volleyball team? I mean, it's just like,
I don't know. It's crazy. That's what
I'm not saying it's simple, and I'm not. Obviously, there's a ton of nuance, and it's complicated. But the way it is now doesn't seem fair either.
I think you would not that there's much parity in college football or college basketball to begin with, but I think you do this and you officially get rid of all. I mean, you're never going to see I was never going to compete,
right?
Not that they do now, but
right.
I mean,
does Iowa have a legitimate chance for the national championship now?
No,
right.
But you're never going to see a
Butler.
Butler
right.
in basketball. You're never going to see
I think in basketball, if anywhere, it's possible, right?
Just everyone's going to go to Duke or UNC, or everyone's going to. I mean, like
not necessarily though. I mean, if you can.
So if you're Butler, what you throw 90% of your pool or whatever at a 5-star.
Yeah, one or two guys.
And 1 or 2 guys, and then you have scrubs on the rest of the team and hope that carries you.
I mean, that's NCAA model, right? That's kind of worked. It worked for Indiana State. Larry Bird. I mean,
that was a little different time.
It worked for Butler the last time with the one guy and nobody else really.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward. Yeah.
Unless you said, like you mentioned earlier, it's like, all right, hey, we're going to give all of our money and our scholarships to these 3 guys, and then we're going to have some uber rich boosters. It's just say, hey, you can come. We're going to be a walk on, but hey, you've got this commercial. You're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to give you $50,000 a year.
And also, if there's a state in the country where your wrestlers can get paid doing ads, it's right here.
Yeah.
Like this, that's an advantage for Iowa.
Here's another question. Are you going to have people teaching these 18-year-olds how to spend their money wisely, because you have freaking pro athletes who don't know how to spend their money wisely and are broke and 3 years after leaving the league. You have these 18-year-olds who aren't good enough to, you have the...
You're right. You put an 18-year-old in USC and say, "Here you go, man."
Well, I mean, one, you're already doing that. Okay, you're already doing that, and then you look at in the NBA, they're giving you're a 19-year-old millionaire,
but they're
who's
also
going to Miami.
but they're also giving them symposiums
to an extent.
Right. I mean, they
yes.
are giving them classes.
Does it 100% success rate? No. Right.
But they are trying to guide them in how to properly manage their money, how to properly conduct themselves. Obviously, it doesn't work all the time, but are they going to do that in the college ranks? I mean, your kid, here's what a 401k is. Here's what an IRA is. Don't just blow your money right away because you're not going to go to the NFL and all of a sudden you're SOL because you.
I think what everyone's pointing out is basically, let's not all start getting all excited about NCAA football.
That's the real takeaway.
There's so much going on, and it really wasn't going to happen until 2023.
All I saw yesterday on Twitter was just, oh my God, NCAA football's coming back. NCAA football's coming back.
I mean, I put it on there. I was like, yeah, make it happen. But I didn't. I still think there's all these kind of things that we brought up that it's tough. Tyson's right. Just make whatever your roster is, whatever the max it is. Make that the scholarships.
Yeah, and if you want to, and if you want to, and then if you want to up the actual value of the full ride scholarship, so these guys are maybe have a little bit more per diem, or their whatever their live out is, whatever. Just make the overall scholarship more. So these football guys are now getting $1,500 a month for housing and whatever else they got to do with it, instead of.
But then you get Title IX, but then Title IX's an issue there too.
Yeah, but you give that's the same thing to the women, right? I mean, I know that.
Well, at some point, I mean, maybe not with that, but at some point they will run out of money. I mean, if you keep upping it, you got to pay those coaches, $5 million a year, right?
You do,
right?
You do.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. Come back and we'll talk Game 7 with Bobby and Tyson some more.
Front Street Brewery, the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, is nestled beautifully along the bank of the mighty Mississippi. It has served the fine community of Davenport, Iowa since 1992 with awesome local beers like the Wise Guy, their take on the instantly recognizable German wheat, beer that's staked its claim on palates around the world, brewed with noble German yeast. This refreshingly sweet and smooth brew features a citrusy tart aroma with significant notes of banana and clove. Prost. Check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials. Also visit their webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. That's Front Street Brewery.
This is Brian Rothenberger, radio guy for the Quad City Storm. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Your kitchen and bathroom are the places your guests will see the most when they visit your home. Don't let them see scratched surfaces, outdated cabinetry, and faded walls. Now's the time to complete the home renovation of your dreams. For this type of project, you need an all-star. You need to call Mike at All-Star Home Services. Check out their past transformations at all-starhomeservices.com. Call now and get $500 off your complete kitchen or bath project. Call 563-299-3786 or visit all-starhomeservices.com.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand?
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't.
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike 3.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Final home matches, along with the conference meets, highlight the remainder of the fall athletic schedule at Augustana College. Doubleheader soccer hits the pitch at Thorson Lucan Field Saturday the 26th. The women host Elmhurst at 1, the men at 3:30. Saturday the 2nd sees action heading inside the Carver Center for women's volleyball and the Pumpkin Bash. First match is at 10 a.m. Then men's and women's cross country hosts the CCIW Championships at Sauckie Golf Course starting at noon. Augustana College, a family-friendly front row seat to big-time small college sports.
When you own a business, every precious second of your life is spent focusing on how to make it successful and profitable. You spend so much time worrying about making things right, the last thing you need to worry about is when things go wrong. That's where we come in. Jorgensen Insurance, our worldwide resources allow us to give your business the most comprehensive and cost-effective commercial insurance plan anywhere. Online at jorgenseninsurance.com. Now, get back to work.
Since 1978, Advantage Advertising has been your one and only choice for promotional products and corporate apparel, all with your company's logo. At Advantage Advertising, you'll find products that are perfect for golf outings, company anniversaries, holiday parties, or health, wellness, and safety programs. We're accredited by the Better Business Bureau and a long-standing member of the Quad Cities Chamber. Visit AdvantageAdvertising.us to see all of the possibilities. Advantage Advertising, a proud supporter of Iowa State Athletics.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KPOB, Davenport.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us Local here, live in the Hasslecast. We're brought to you by Done Right. We've got a phone call, so we'll go right to it. Yeah, you're on the air. You're on the air.
What's up, good looking?
Hey, what's up, T-Roy?
How we doing today, brother?
Doing well. We got a packed house in here. We got Bobby, we got Tyson, we got Nick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just leaving the loo, so I have no idea what y'all been talking about, but...
Mostly you.
Now we're talking about Game 7, right?
Yeah, we're just about to talk about Game 7 and a little bit more about Game 6. What are your thoughts on Game 7?
I'm excited. This is obviously without either one of these teams. I'm pumped. Absolutely pumped. That game last night was phenomenal. I don't really care what side you fall in the drama. I mean, it ended up not mattering because of Rondon. So I'm assuming Scherzer's starting. So they got the Scherzer a little bit last time. I don't expect him to dominate like the guy did last night, but I mean he could very well come out and do that. I don't know. Like I said, I would take Scherzer over Greinke if you're asking me to make a bet on that. But obviously it's going to come down to a lot of people pitching tonight, right?
Yeah, that's what we think. We think they're just going to throw everybody, is what you have to assume. I mean, we've done this how many times and laughed about it. This is all for nothing. It's all on the line. You've only got one game. This is what you do it for in spring training. This is what you talk about when you're a kid. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is Eminem, man. This is B-Rabbit.
Yeah, that's right.
Play kids to try and be Rabbit.
All right. Well, you have a safe trip home. Sounds like you're on the road.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, I'm on the road. Hands-free device, though, kids. Remember, hands-free.
Okay.
All right.
we got to wrap up. Thank you, though. Thanks for calling in. Be safe. All right.
Well, you heard it from T-Roy. Something's going to happen tonight.
I love it. I love it. Bobby, what did you think of Game 6?
I didn't get to watch much of it, but...
You were covering volleyball.
Yeah.
Yep.
The right team won.
Okay. Ball don't lie?
Ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
That's it.
Anthony Rendon, man, that guy's
unbelievable. Like, I've never seen a guy look so good who was hitting 230 going into last night's game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about Bregman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good. Had a couple homers, and he's been hitting.
What happened to Carlos Correa?
Yeah.
Like, he's just disappeared. He was like the best player on that team last time the Astros won the World Series.
He needs a cortisone shot.
I think we all
His
do.
attitude.
I mean, if it does for you what it did for Scherzer, I want a cortisone shot now.
What are your thoughts on Game 7, Bobby?
Depends which Max Scherzer shows up. If he's healthy, if he's ready to go, I think the Nationals win.
My brother-in-law is not a big Nats fan, goes a lot of games. He always says this about Scherzer. It's first 15 pitches and last 15 pitches. If he can get in and get out unscathed, the middle is fairly smooth sailing for him. The first innings have been crazy in the series.
Yeah.
Just every single one of them.
I don't trust Zach Greinke.
You can't.
Yeah, don't trust him
either.
He's 0-2 this postseason with 5.30 ERA, but he was 18-5 on the year with a 2.93 ERA. The Nationals, the Houston is the favorite going into tonight. They're minus 140.
Yeah, but they're at home.
It's one of the low. Yeah, I know. It's one of the lowest they've been all year. All series. It's one of the at home. That doesn't mean automatically they're going to. By the trend that this has been happening, it's gonna. That's what it looks like. The Nats are plus 130 underdog, and the over under is sitting at 7.5. Yeah,
take the over on that. Every single game's been over, right?
That's if you look at, the over hit, yeah, but it took a while to hit last night. But it was the seventh inning, that meltdown of the
inning. Those bullpens, and
that's what we said. But if you get Garrett Cole out there, and what did Patrick Corbin? Yeah, Corbin,
he's probably going to be out tonight, or he'll be pitching sometime tonight, right?
How crazy is it that Justin Verlander is 0-6 in World Series games?
0-6.
That's crazy. The fact that he's pitched in 6 World Series games and he hasn't won any of them.
5.68 ERA in World Series starts. They did his laundry list of things at his career,
right?
And then the one thing on the checklist.
Well, this is Kershaw's been getting killed for this for. Yeah. Kershaw's like 28 years old. He's been getting killed for this since he was like 17. It feels like, right?
At least Verlander showed up at different times throughout the postseason. I just feel like Kershaw's
postseason stats are incredible. Like after he blew that game against Washington, I went back and looked, and it's like he's got a full season. He basically pitched a full season worth
of playoff
games, and he's got all his stats in the playoffs are. It's the worst stats in anything. And he's never had a worse regular season.
And he's legit probably like one of the 10 best pitchers maybe ever.
Yeah.
Like he's unbelievable. And for whatever reason. But yeah, like, you never hear Verlander's not good in the postseason.
I think Kershaw gets misused all the time. He got misused in Game 5.
Sure.
He should never have been out there.
No, not at all.
Like he's pitching on short rest almost all the time because early in the career they never had anybody else around there, so he had to pitch every 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Rich Hill, baby.
Oh yeah. Former Cub Rich Hill.
I don't know if I'm reading this right on the Harrington's Pub Facebook commented. Brebner said Scherzer goes 5 before his pitch count, or they take him out. Is he going to be on a pitch count in the World Series Game 7?
No shot.
That's what I thought about Strasburg, though, right?
Yeah, but that was Strasburg was young at the time. I mean, Scherzer.
No, I'm talking about just last night. 8 1/3, and then they
took him out.
Yeah. But he's not on he's not on a pitch count if he's cruising, right?
No, not at all.
No,
this is his career. I mean, he doesn't have that much left in the tank, So I mean, if you can win another title, they're not going to take him out. They couldn't keep him out of the bullpen last night. How are they going to take him out of the game?
That's right.
Yeah.
He can go back.
Davey Martinez got to fight Max Scherzer on the mound. That's the fight.
The only reason, I mean, if you're Davey Martinez, you're just talking to every inning. How you feeling? Good. All right, go out there. If you got to trust Scherzer to regular season pitchers are going to put themselves above the team a lot of times, but this time, like you got to trust Scherzer to be saying, I do what's best for the team. If I can't, don't think I can.
You think Scherzer's going to be objective tonight? And he's not.
He has to be. You have to be. You have.
I don't know how he can.
Every other game in the regular season, everything fine. You want to keep pitching. You want to go out there. If you think that you could cost your team a Game 7, you got to say, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, but I don't think, those good pitchers, they think they can always get it done. So I think it falls on Martinez. It's like, hey, you have to understand that this isn't about one person. So if he starts to falter at all and you go out there and you get into it, he needs to come out of the game. Because if he comes out of the game and it's the best, if you think it's best for the team, you got to do it.
Scherzer's never going to be like, hey, you should take me out.
I'm not even talking about faltering. I'm talking about from a pain standpoint.
Yeah.
If he feels something, he's got to say.
He can't feel anything.
Agreed.
But if he feels off, because yes, if he falters, Dave Martinez got to take him out. But from like a pain or comfort standpoint, if he feels like, ooh, something's, he can't try and pitch through. He's got to be like, I got to get out.
Scherzer
agreed with you.
Scherzer's Mr. D's right now. You can put a fire poker into his leg, and he's just going to be like, nope, can't feel a thing.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about this all day, but can you give it up for the Nats for playing the long game with Strasburg when they sat him like they got paid off on that, and I'm really happy for them because they did what was right for the kid when they took him out years ago when everyone freaked out in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they're loyal. That paid off.
No.
You're still
sure it may pay off. It could have paid off then. They could be sitting for a second World Series. Like when you have a chance to win a World Series, you don't take that out of, because it's not about him. Sure, maybe it would have been best for him. I still think he would have been just fine. It's the other guys on that team that are playing for a World Series that may never ever get back.
I.e. Bryce Harper.
And I'm not a Bryce Harper fan, but yeah, sure.
Here's the argument against you. His name's Mark Pryor.
Yeah, Mark Pryor. There was other things going on with Mark Pryor. Like everyone said his mechanics were great, and they weren't that great. I mean, there were things in there that didn't work out well. And then you can't – if a guy's injury prone, he's injury prone. And Mark Prior throughout his entire career just showed he was injury prone. So you could have taken care of him during that season, and he could have done the same thing throughout his career.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but pitching 120 pitches plus in the game 6 of the NLCS is idiotic.
He was,
you think so?
He was invincible up until basically then, right?
Yeah, and that's when the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
Was then. Dusty Baker has ruined 2 pitchers' careers and almost ruined a third in Carlos Zambrano. He was starting to try and do it to Carlos Zambrano before they fired him.
Yeah, I think he was just scared of Zambrano, though. That guy was scary.
He punched Michael Barrett. Punched Derek Lee.
Well, Barrett was very punchable. So.
Yeah,
So 7 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a long one. Like we said, either way, this is a Hollywood ending. Well, if Greinke throws a gem, there's your Hollywood story there. And if Nationals win,
if Strasburg throws a gem, it's a Hollywood story. Or not Strasburg, but Scherzer.
Why?
The guy couldn't walk 4 days ago.
Well, but it's a quarter, like Tyson said, cortisone shots.
It's still
are amazing.
something. Awesome. He couldn't dress himself 4 days ago when he's pitching Game 7 of the World Series.
Couldn't get out of bed.
Right.
I just like the visualization you said. He got some Looney Tunes shot that came in the mail, like Acme on the box and everything else. Like
just like a barrel of whatever liquid it is. What do you guys think about this? For Game 7s of the World Series, and even like Game 7 of basketball, there should be like 4 days off, and it's at a neutral site.
No.
Say that again.
No?
Say that one more time.
Like you should have a little bit of like lead up to the game. Like you can really hype the thing.
Not in baseball. Not in baseball because it gives one team probably an unfair advantage. Because if you get lucky and you beat somebody's
pitcher around,
ace, right? And then you're going into Game 7.
But would you rather see the 2 best pitchers for both teams pitching Game 7?
For sure, I would rather see it. But as a guy that's trying to win a World Series, you don't want that.
In baseball, what do you think the time off is going to do to hype it up? Who's going to hype it up? ESPN was talking about the NFL trade deadline this morning.
Yeah.
We had an incredible Game 6.
Well, not a lot of action at the NFL trade deadline.
And guess what? Hey, Golick and Wingo were really milking it.
Yeah.
I mean, really milking it. Like, who won each one? And then when that went away, then it was...
Aqib Talib to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's going to make a big difference.
And I was like, how are they talking about this right now? Like, ESPN, I know you only have, like, Sunday Night Baseball, and you don't have that much stock in it, but how are you talking about this right now over Game 6?
Because they don't... That's all they care. They care about NFL and NBA. That's what all their money's invested in.
I understand that, but you are the worldwide leader in sports.
They haven't actually been relevant in God knows how long.
As we're speaking on ESPN radio show.
Their money goes into 3 things: NFL, NBA, and this show.
Correct.
Tyson, tell me about Backstop Sports.
Yeah. It's just when I'm home, I'm do lessons and programs over at TBK down there Mondays and Wednesdays right now, and I run a catching program on Sundays 4:30 to 5:30. We're just starting our second session actually this Sunday. So sessions are 4 weeks, and we go through a variety of different things: receiving and throwing and blocking, and it's age appropriate too. So we break it up. We got some young guys doing different things than some of our older guys, and so yeah, it's a good time. And if you want to get a hold of me, Facebook, I've got Backstop Sports Facebook, Backstop Sports on Twitter. You can email me at backstopsports@gmail.com. And yeah, just to do a lot of lessons and try to give back as much as I can.
Tyson, how do they fix baseball?
How do they fix baseball? It's
a great question.
That's an awesome question. I think that in order to fix baseball, that you do have to try to make it sexier for the younger generation, and to do that, I think that
shorts.
You have a lot of
the White Sox uniforms.
You have a lot of these guys talking about old school versus new school, and it's like you got to add more personality into the game. I think the season's too long. I think that it needs to start a little bit later. I think it needs to get less games. I think that's going to keep more guys healthy. I think you can advertise more for 140 games a season, and there's no good question. I'm probably stumbling over my words here. I don't know if there is a great answer to that. So,
what do you think about moving baseball World Series start times up an hour?
Yeah, I think move them up, make everybody able to watch it. Like, I don't mind it right now because my kids finally go to bed and I get the TV and I don't have to watch like My Little Pony or Paw Patrol or something like that. But move it up and let everybody be able to watch it. I think that's because like people don't realize they're being deprived of Mike Trout, who's one of the best baseball players ever. We're talking ever, and nobody watches this guy. Nobody has any idea. He could probably walk down the street here in the Midwest, and people one or two might say, hey. So figuring out how to capitalize on some of your major stars, making it fun for the younger generations. I think there are some rule changes that could be good for the game. I don't mind the shot clocks. I don't mind coming in and having to face a minimum of 3 batters or whatever it is, because you're a professional pitcher. We don't need guys coming in every batter and facing lefty righty. To me, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Let's attack and figure out how to get guys out. So I think some of those things could work.
Can you shorten up the season by adding in doubleheaders, or are you for or against that?
Sure. The regular season doubleheaders don't matter. They don't. You're gonna pretty much see a new lineup in there. They're gonna get the main guys out. They're not gonna play both games. You're gonna see. Yeah, so the doubleheaders, that's fine. I got no problem with doubleheaders.
All right. So you have practice tonight. You have lessons tonight at TBK.
We got lessons over at TBK tonight. So.
And you say, "Hurry up, let's get going here," and then go home and watch the World Series.
You
give them extra credit.
Right. That's exactly.
Go do that. Bobby, what's your thoughts for Game 7? What do you have? Did you already say it? I'm sorry if I don't.
I'd like to see the Nationals win.
You'd like to see the Nationals win.
We said the right team won Game 6.
Yeah.
So we know where he stands.
I think the Nationals win. I don't trust, like I said, I don't trust Greinke. I think Scherzer's going to shove. And I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to hit. I think they're going to get some hits. I mean, obviously they have to, but I mean, I just think, I don't know. I think the Astros' chance to win was last night. I think they're not going to win tonight.
Huge upset if the Nationals win this game.
Huge upset if the Nationals win the series. I mean,
well, I mean, that's it tonight,
yeah,
right?
But I mean, nobody thought.
No.
I mean,
Houston is without question the better team, right?
Yeah.
And we're here, and nobody's won a home game.
Well, on top of it, you would think, do the Nationals know what they're doing? Like, they were up 2-0. And then they blew it at home, and they
you should be
it's
dead.
like you're playing, like you guys said. It's like the way they're playing is like
they've played 4 elimination games, have trailed in all 4 of them, and have won all 4 of them.
Yes. Yeah, because they were down 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Like, I'm not a huge I'm a Cubs fan, and I loved when the Cubs kept knocking them out. But like, I knew how good that Nationals team was, and I think it's awesome that like the rest of the country or those who are watching are kind of figuring out like. Just how good like Anthony Rendon is, and how good Juan Soto is going to be.
Jeez.
And I mean, all you heard about for that team for years was, they got Scherzer, Strasburg, and Harper.
Yeah.
But like Anthony Rendon's, he's been an MVP candidate the last few years, and nobody really knows that much about him. Juan Soto is a stud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team's finally getting a chance to kind of shine. I think it's awesome.
If the Nationals win tonight, Bryce Harper is trending on Twitter within 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going to go out of their way to enjoy sticking it to Harper.
He's trending if the Nationals take a lead.
Yeah.
That poor guy.
He's not. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be just fine.
Hey, who does Napoli call a douche tonight on Twitter?
Ooh.
Who's your pick to click for Napoli to call a douche tonight?
Gurriel.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just feel like it seems something like that.
Yeah.
This is like Game 7s are so great because this is like the Mark Lemke games. These are like the Craig Counsell games. This is like Kurt Suzuki's gonna hit 2 home runs tonight. Right. Like, just weird things will happen tonight. It'll be good.
Hopefully, it's a better Game 7 than the one 2 years ago when they just went off on Darvish and it was over like 2 innings in.
I hope in the
Game
first
7,
inning,
the Cubs Game 7 was awesome, but obviously the one after that was just bad.
Cubs Game 7 was ridiculous, like with an hour rain delay.
I don't know if you're ever going to top that in terms of.
I hope Soto does
locally. You can't. Like, I don't know it's possible.
First inning, Soto does a Soto shuffle on a 3-1 pitch or whatever else. Thinks it's a ball, grabs his crotch. They call it a strike, and then Napoli just goes crazy on Twitter.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I'll go with.
That sounds about right.
I would love that.
Great.
He does the shoulder shuffle, crotch grab, and he calls him a douche.
And then Brian McCann jumps in.
Yeah, Brian McCann comes in. Just gives him the business about everything. Did you see the bat carry to first?
I did. Awesome.
Yeah.
Should case carry all around the entire.
Well, who's going to take it all the way around the horn?
I got Pedro Serrano in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Altuve, if he walks off.
No, he
Springer?
walked off, and it was he went pro. He just dropped that bat, and ran around the bases when he walked that off against the Yankees.
Yeah.
If no one ever talked about it, because he just threw the bat down and just took off like it was no big deal. And I was like, that's cool.
God, if Juan Soto hits, well, it wouldn't be a walk off, but if he hits a go ahead late, like how far is that bat flying?
Oh, I can't wait. That's so much fun. All right, we got to take a next break. We got to take another break. Tyson, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for calling in. I know I messaged you late and everything, so thanks for coming in. When we'll be right back. Don't hassle us. We're local.
You want the latest in technology but don't know where to start? Call Done Right TV and Security Solutions, your Dish Premier local retailer, to get started today. They'll take the guesswork out of choosing the latest smart home technology with your budget in mind. Dish has been a leader in technology for years. The Hopper Smart HD DVR interacts with your smart speaker to change channels, pause, and fast forward with just your voice. Sign up today and receive a free Nest doorbell system, free courtesy of Done Right. Call 866-84-RIGHT today. Let Done Right provide local professional installation with personal service that is trusted by thousands of homeowners and businesses in the Quad Cities. Restrictions do apply. That's Done Right TV and Security, 866-84-RIGHT.
Hey, this is Dorf with Dancing with the QC Stars. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
This is Ella Schmidt, the 106-pounder for Bettendorf, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
With the loss of a loved one, planning a fitting service can be a real challenge. At Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, with our personalized service and attention to detail, you can be confident the service will be everything you wished for. We've been serving families in our area for generations. We would be privileged to serve yours too. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Final home matches, along with the conference meets, highlight the remainder of the fall athletic schedule at Augustana College. Doubleheader soccer hits the pitch at Thorson Lucan Field Saturday the 26th. The women host Elmhurst at 1, the men at 3:30. Saturday the 2nd sees action heading inside the Carver Center for women's volleyball and the Pumpkin Bash. First match is at 10 a.m. Then men's and women's cross country hosts the CCIW Championships at Sauckie Golf Course starting at noon. Augustana College, a family-friendly front row seat to big-time small college sports.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand?
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't.
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike three.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Score a touchdown on your next new or used purchase at Sexton Ford. With a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks, you'll feel like you've entered the big game each and every time. You'll be treated like a pro player from sales to service, auto body to parts. Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too. Why wait? The game's on at Sexton Ford in Moline.
Oh yeah, Sexton Ford is the talk of the town.
In business, is it better to build your way to growth or buy your way? First Midwest Bank has ideas. It's a critical decision and different for every company. A First Midwest commercial banker can help you weigh your options, because at First Midwest, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. M&A momentum, strategic momentum, business momentum. First Midwest Bank.
Leaks, rumps, nooks, cranny, crevice, too. You've got those wet basement blues. Call the absolutely dry guy. Call the absolutely dry guy. Put that water back in its place. It's time to reclaim your living space when you call the absolutely dry guy. Or visit us online at absolutedryguy.com. This was brought to you by Absolutely Dry Basement Waterproofing.
Join the conversation. Follow ESPN 1170 AM on Facebook and Twitter. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local here on 1170 ESPN AM. We're live in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright TV and Security. I want to thank Tyson Blazer for coming in and talking the World Series with us. In studio is Nick Toffanelli for T-Roy. Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times is here as well. Nick's got to leave with us soon. But, Nick, I want to talk to you about a tweet that a thread, if you will, that you put out about a week ago.
Yeah.
You had your experience with Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's, chicken fingers, now in Davenport.
All right.
I've had a week to reflect.
This was a big deal. Every time there's some type of a building being erected and some change comes in, everyone goes to the social media to tell you that this is the place that's going to change the Quad Cities.
Well, we're a metropolis now, a big city now.
Okay.
We got Portillo's, we got Raising Cane's. They're right next to each other.
I have yet to step foot in Portillo's.
No kidding.
Yeah, I got it once to go, but I have yet to step foot in there.
I have yet to go there. I've gone to when I was in Chicago, but haven't gone to the ones here.
Yeah. You've gone in? You've gone there?
I've been. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Raising Cane's. It's chicken finger place.
Yes. It's okay, so you drive up, and anyone who's gone there will know this, but if you haven't been there yet, you wouldn't know this at all. The way they designed the building and the drive-thru is insanity. You have to drive around the building once to make your order, and then you pass by where you came in to pick up your order. Then you have to drive around the building again to get out, but you're boxed in because there's all sorts of people waiting to be in line. So, like, you get your food, and it takes you another 8 minutes to get out of the parking lot, which isn't great. That being said, the chicken fingers are very good. Like, it's really good. The food's good, but sweet tea is garbage, and I don't know why anyone drinks sweet tea. That was the crux of the thread.
What makes it really good?
It's good quality fried chicken fingers. If you like chicken fingers, you're gonna like these chicken fingers.
Okay.
I drove past it. And I had no idea it was going up until a couple weeks ago, and I was like, well, they gotta have obviously just more than chicken fingers on the menu. And I was like, what?
There's like 3 things on the menu. It's like chicken finger sandwich, chicken fingers, and chicken fingers, and then coleslaw, garlic bread, and fries.
Yeah,
that's like the whole. That's it. That's all they got.
Wait,
that's insane to me.
Are the chicken fingers like spun in different sauces?
No, sir.
No.
Dusted in.
They only have 2 sauces. One's a cane sauce, which is like
a Chick-fil-A sauce.
A little bit like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a sweeter,
barbecue
tangy kind of like. And then the other one's honey mustard. So like, there's legit like 9 things on the entire menu. Which is, I mean, you're specializing. It's good.
There is not going to be that need for 2 drive-through lanes long there.
It was and I went back since. I went back there, and it was the exact same way. It's about 25 minutes to get your food, and then another like 10 minutes to get out of the parking lot, which is weird.
That's just a matter of people just wanting to say that they were one of the first ones there and to give their report, their unsolicited report.
That was my whole plan, was to be one of the first ones there, so I could,
to give it. Yeah.
Really get all the social media buzz from.
Yeah. I don't. All right. Well, my kids eat chicken fingers, so I guess eventually I'll make a
pilgrimage.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't realize it was the limited menu and sauces. That's kind of crazy.
It's different.
And sweet tea, that's their big thing too, is sweet tea?
They talk a lot of...
I'm not from the South, not that it means anything, but everyone I know that's from the South, that they're the ones that talk about sweet tea.
I feel like a lot of people talk about sweet tea being... And yes, mostly people from the South, they're like, oh, we just drink sweet tea. I tried the sweet tea at Cane's, and when I tried it, I realized that maybe I've never tried sweet tea before.
I don't like sweet tea at all.
Because it's not good. It's really bad. Like it's one of the worst drinks I've ever had in my life.
See, I'm not a fan of iced tea, but I like sweet tea.
I like sweet tea. I mean, I like iced tea.
You like sweet tea?
Yeah.
It's tea with like 12 sugar packets in it.
Yeah, I don't drink it all. I don't drink it very often, but if I'm going to drink iced tea, I'd rather have it be sweet tea than iced tea.
I mean, I understand like a little bit of flavor, but this was just like half a cup of sugar and like a skosh of iced tea. Like this was just top it off, just like a little splash.
Maybe it's not very good sweet tea. Good sweet tea is good, I think.
I feel like this has turned me against all sweet teas, and I won't even hear the argument anymore. Like I'm not even gonna, like, if you say like, oh, our sweet tea is really good, I'm gonna say no. I will not even attempt it.
Nick, you have trivia tonight?
It is actually canceled till next week for Game 7.
Not that I want it to be canceled, but I really want you to be on Twitter tonight during the game.
I'll be there.
All right, because it makes it a lot more fun. So I know you got to get going, so I don't want to hold you up, but I want to thank you for coming in today.
I appreciate you having me. Good to be back.
And if it's bonkers, be prepared to come in tomorrow.
Yeah,
so we can do a post World Series.
An autopsy, if you would.
Yeah, another one. Because, I just, from my lips to God's ears, it's as crazy as, 5 it was good, 6 was incredible. And I'm not even just talking about the baseball.
What's so weird is the final score was 7-2. It doesn't sound like a good game. It was one of the greatest baseball games I've ever watched in my life.
And so that's the other thing. I'll ask you real quick. Am I far-fetched to think that this is one of the best World Series I've ever seen?
It's been so great. It's been so fun. Like,
take the Cubs out of it. Take the Cubs World Series. Do you think this is one of the best ones you've seen?
No.
That's what all these antics and everything else has happened.
As much as I have to say, and obviously Cubs going to be the top, but Cardinals Rangers.
Yeah, that was. They are good.
I think
that was David Freese, right?
That was David Freese.
Yeah.
And they were down to their last strike twice.
Twins Braves 91.
Yeah. We can go through it, but I really think like all the antics and the fun of the
I think
crazy
the Royals Giants won.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying I think this is skewing my view.
Recency bias.
But I can tell you.
What's the closest? What has the closest game been?
That's a great
question.
I
don't even know. I can't even tell you the scores of any of these games other than last night, just because it was last night. But I've been glued to every single one. I've watched like every pitch of every one of these games, and whenever I'm thinking about turning it away, I'm like, well, Howie Kendrick could come up and hit a 6-run home run, and all of a sudden it's a tie. Like you never know with these games.
You think the rock and jock is going to happen all of a sudden?
Yes.
Right. Game 1, Nationals won 5-4.
That's your closest one.
Game 2, Nationals won 12-3. Game 3, Astros won 4-1. Game 4, 8-1. Game 5, 7-1. Then 7-2. And the way that, like Nick just said, I would have been like, no way.
There's been 5 one-run games, and like every pitch has mattered, and like everything's so intense.
Yeah, exactly. It's been great. So I just hope tonight is anything, because 5 and 6 have just been a lot of fun. And the other thing on top of it, 3 and 4, because it would just no way the Nationals are going to lose one. Lose all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when 5 happened, when Scherzer was out because he couldn't get out of bed,
and that happened like 2 hours before the game. Basically, they announced, one of the best pitchers in the league is not going to make it. You've already lost 2 at home. The series is tied. You're toast. It's over.
Yeah.
It's done. You lose 3 in a row at home in the middle of the series. You're done. It's over. And then last night, for them to come back, bounce back after all that, after going down again early in the beginning of the game. It's been a great series. The Nationals have been incredible.
They
Hopefully,
were 19
one more
and
night.
31 at one point.
Yeah.
Adam Eaton going yard with Verlander, just all the little things that I don't know. And then Napoli calling Bregman a douche.
Is Adam Eaton on Twitter, and is his Twitter name Adam Tweeting? Because if that's not a thing,
somebody needs to do it right now.
How is that not a thing?
Adam Tweeting is great. That would be really good. All right. Thanks, Nick, for coming in, though. So be prepared to come in tomorrow. Enjoy.
Love it.
Enjoy running errands.
Bobby, always a pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Bobby, talk to me about the Storm.
Some good, some bad.
Yeah. Thanks again, Nick.
Beat reigning champ Huntsville in a shootout. Played really well. Didn't play well in special teams in that game. That's where both the goals were given up. And then Saturday kind of looked a lot like last year's team. Struggled a lot in their own defensive zone. Didn't do a lot to help out their goaltenders. And Huntsville's good. There's a reason they won back-to-back titles.
Yeah. Did you get your laser bracelet?
Oh, yeah.
What does it do?
Just flashes.
And it's good for night running?
Apparently.
Did you go trick-or-treating with the players post the game?
No.
No, didn't think so. And then last night you covered Pleasant Valley versus Central in volleyball?
Yep.
And Pleasant Valley has a match against Bettendorf on Monday.
Monday to go to state.
Right, to go to state. Assumption won as well.
Yep, they beat Benton in 4 sets, and North Scott beat Fairfield in 3 sets.
So 3, they are all playing for shot.
Yes.
And North Scott and Assumption's ranked. North Scott's ranked high. So the PV Bettendorf, PV won the conference though.
Yes.
So they should be the odds-on favorite to
I think
win.
I don't think they dropped a set against Bettendorf
Okay,
this year.
Gotcha. And we're going into postseason high school football.
Yeah, we've got a handful of teams on Iowa, and I think it's 11 teams in Illinois.
Oh boy!
So I'll be going to Gladbrook-Rhinebeck on Friday for Easton Valley, their first playoff game in several years, and we'll have people at Bettendorf game, North Scott, West Liberty, and then Illinois kicks off. There's 2 games on Friday. Moline plays Willowbrook on Friday, and West Carroll plays on Friday, and then every other Illinois game is on Saturday.
Okay. So so that's your travel coming up then.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch the game tonight, or do you have to cover something?
I'm going to be out.
Mhm.
I'll probably keep an eye on it, but it's not going to be. I'm not going to watch it closely.
What if you miss something like Bregman carrying a bat to first base or Soda?
I'm sure I'll see it on Twitter. That's where I saw both of those on Twitter.
I love your enthusiasm for it. Well, going back to what we said before Nick left, what are so you said you didn't want to talk about, you didn't want to admit, but the Cardinals Rangers, because it got brought up to my friend's text. They're like, "What's the best World Series that you watched?" And I could go back to, I had to go through my own memory first. The first one I remember was 1984. Not that it was a big deal. I just remember knowing who won and paying attention to it.
Yeah.
So 85 didn't strike me too much. I know Brett Saberhagen I remember Brett Saberhagen being really good. And then you have the Don Dickinger. 86 was obviously the Buckner.
Yeah.
87, both home teams winning all the games. 88, Gibby. 89, the Earthquake. So 91, then you have 90 was, that wasn't anything too big. 91, the Twins. And then, I was just kind of going through there and where I would put them at. And I do agree that my view is skewed. I don't know if it's recent. It's not recency bias. It's just the last 2 games have been so incredibly odd. I think for my entertainment reasons is why I've put this up higher.
See, and I haven't watched every World Series and every World Series game except for the Cubs one, really.
Mhm.
Even that I didn't get to watch because I was working for some of them. But I can think back. I think it does help that it's at the Game 7. That always helps, legacies of World Series. But think back to Indians, Marlins.
97.
You've got the Diamondbacks, Yankees.
Yep. 2001.
That was 2001.
Gracie got the hit that ended up being a pinch runner that ended up scoring on Gonzalez.
And you got on the Gonzalez's bloop.
Yep.
Yeah. You've got the Marlins, Yankees one.
Mm-hmm.
The 03 one.
Yep.
As I said, you've got obviously the Red Sox winning their first one in 04. With how they came in the ALCS, but I think that was, I don't think the World Series was that great, if I remember correctly, but the whole story
but the story of that one, of getting there and coming back, going down
03.
Yeah.
But then you've got, I can't, all the Yankees ones I block out, who cares?
It's I kind of do too.
But like I said, though, the Bumgarner Giants stuff, where Bumgarner is pitching basically every other night in that series.
Yeah, in 2014.
And then the next year when the Royals win.
Yep.
And
the Cubs one is don't get me wrong.
The Cubs, and again, I think objectively and opinionated, I think Cubs is the best one. With all that, they were down 3-1, the Game 7, blowing the lead, the rain delay, all of that. Again, like I said, if you're putting things up there, you got to put Cardinals Rangers up there too, because that was just as two strike. I watched Game 6 and Game 7. I was furious about it, but
yeah,
they were a strike away from losing twice.
Well, looked at these, and these are the list here, just the World Series Game 7 since 2000. And the one thing we talked about briefly is just the amount of minutes. And like you said, maybe it is better in this day and age that you can, just catch up on some highlights. But this game is going in the last, like we said, the last 7 of them, last 6 of them, Game 7. Not one has gone less than 3 hours and 10 minutes.
3 hours and 10 is fine. It's these 4-hour games that have been going on. I mean, last night didn't get over till what, about 10:50?
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost. They're averaging just under 4 hours, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're spending 4 minutes calling in on a play that didn't need to be reviewed.
Well, you're also adding 30 seconds to every single commercial break.
Yeah. Either way, as long as it's a good game, I don't care how long it takes. To be honest with you, you're not going to lose me on a Game 7. But that's just me. And,
but
I think like
the casual viewer.
Your question to Tyson was perfect, and it's a great one. How do you fix it? I don't know what it. I don't know what to do. I don't. He brought up some good points, but how do you make the casual viewer want to watch it?
Tonight, you might not lose the casual viewer because it's Game 7. The game they may say, "Well, I'm going to watch because unless it becomes a blowout."
I think this is the one game that you'll have. You can keep customers in the bar for.
Yeah,
the Game 7. They'll be like, "I'm sticking around for this." Now, if it gets to be crazy numbers, run total within on one side or the other early in the fourth, then people are going to bail out and say it's it, because you're not going to find a large portion of Houston. I mean, Houston Nationals maybe around here people who are River Bandits loyalists, but not a lot of Nationals guys.
I just don't know. Like, they've got the pitch clock is in the rules, and they just choose not to enforce it. That's.
Is anybody taking their time though? I don't know if anyone's pointed to that and said like, hey, they kind of take too long.
I think they have. I mean, you look at. I mean, a lot of these pitchers take. Well, I mean, it's not just the pitchers. I mean, the batters. Take a minute, 2 minutes between every pitch. To readjust their gloves. I mean, when Derek Jeter was, he took a minute between every pitch to do a bunch of crap.
Remember what Nomar did?
Oh yeah.
Just real quick. So Game 7 tonight, the Astros opened up at -140 favorites. The Nats are +130. The total is set at 7.5. Scherzer's on the mound, and Greinke's going to throw for the Astros. Scherzer, like we said, he was scratched from Game 5. He had a neck injury. He's 3-0 in the postseason with a 2.16 ERA, and Greinke is 0-2 with a 5.30 ERA. But the Astros did win Greinke's Game 3 start. Greinke went 4 2/3 and gave up 1 run of 6 strikeouts in that game. There is no clear edge when it comes to a do-or-die Game 7 in MLB postseason. There have been 10 such instances since 2005. And according to BetLab Sports, the dogs have won 5 and the favorites have won 5. Road teams are 5-5 and home teams are 5-5. So there's no clear-cut advantage here when it comes to the Game 7s.
So you've watched this series very closely, right?
Yeah. I would say like Game 1, it's been on every time, yeah.
Who are your MVPs?
Oh, that's a great question, because the guys that stand out, I mean, Rendon didn't have a great batting average going in there, neither did Bregman. For longevity, if Nationals win, you could give it to Scherzer. Not Scherzer, I'm sorry, Strasburg. He's 5-0 in the postseason. It's the first time in MLB history that someone's gone 5-0 in the postseason. Now I know it's a World Series MVP, but I mean, probably. And on the Astros side, man, I couldn't. Springer. Yeah, I mean he's already got 2 home runs from, not lead off the game, but 2 or 3. It'd probably be Springer. You can make a case for Altuve. But I don't know Nationals Soto. If you go for a positional player and you're just going from the 7-game body frame. But Strasburg could be up there. Those 2 wins, and especially if Strasburg comes in and throws, which he probably isn't. He's shut down, right?
I would think you have to.
Yeah. So, do you have any insight? I mean, I
haven't watched much of the series.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say just didn't know if you had a thought on anything like that.
I would think you could make a very good case for Scherzer or Strasburg, even if you don't take into account the rest of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Just what he's done in the World Series. I mean,
yeah, that would be the one for the Nationals that I would be leaning for.
I don't know the last time. Bumgarner, I guess, would be the last time a pitcher has won a World Series MVP.
But like I said, I hope it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it. I love baseball. I love bat carries to first base. I really do. And it makes me sad that it's over with. And I like that there's some attention to it, even though if ESPN wants to talk about a really bad NFL trade deadline day.
14 people around a table to talk about nothing.
Yeah. I mean, It reminds me of a story back in when it was Mike and Mike in the Morning. This was a long time ago, maybe about 10, if not even 15 years ago, where Bud Selig called into Mike and Mike in the Morning during a commercial break and said to Greenberg, "I would just appreciate it on opening day if you guys could start with talking about MLB instead." And it was either NFL or NBA. And Greenberg was the one that shared the story. He's like, "The commissioner just called me." I mean, he was right. So, all right, Bobby, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Anything else?
No.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Bobby Metcalf88. You guys have a hassle-free Wednesday. Enjoy Game 7, and we will see you in 22 hours. Enjoy yourselves, Quad Cities.